Buyer closing costs in New York City are between 1.5% to 6% of the purchase price. Buyer closing costs are higher for condos compared to co-ops, and closing costs are the highest for new developments, also known as sponsor sales. The largest buyer closing costs in New York City include the mortgage recording tax of 1.8% to 1.925% on all purchases being financed, and the mansion tax of 1% to 3.9% on purchases of $1 million or more. Other large buyer closing costs include title insurance for condos and houses, real estate attorney fees, as well as lender, building, and miscellaneous fees. You can estimate your buyer closing costs in New York City using Hauseit's interactive closing cost calculator, available at www.hauseit.com. You can also save money on your purchase by requesting a Hauseit buyer closing credit. The mortgage recording tax is 1.8% for loans below $500,000 and 1.925% for loans of $500,000 or more. The actual tax rates are 2.05% and 2.175%. However, most banks generally cover 0.25% of the mortgage recording tax for residential deals. You can estimate your mortgage recording tax bill using Hauseit's interactive mortgage recording tax calculator, available at www.hauseit.com. The mortgage recording tax is not applicable to co-ops, as the tax only applies to real property. Co-ops are not considered to be real property because a buyer actually purchases shares in the private corporation that owns the co-op. Because the mortgage recording tax is based on the loan size as opposed to the purchase price, you can lower your buyer closing costs by paying all cash or by increasing the size of your down payment. It's also possible to reduce the mortgage recording tax as a buyer by negotiating a purchase SEMA with the seller. This allows a seller to transfer some or all of an existing mortgage over to you as a buyer, thereby reducing the amount of new loan money which needs to be originated. The mansion tax is a progressive buyer closing cost applicable to purchases of $1 million or more, which ranges from 1% to 3.9% depending on the purchase price. You can estimate your mansion tax bill using Hauseit's interactive mansion tax calculator, available at www.hauseit.com. Title insurance is approximately 0.4% to 0.5% of the purchase price. It's a one-time fee which provides a buyer with an insurance policy against defects or future claims against the title of the property being purchased, which were unknown at the time of purchase. This closing cost does not apply to co-op apartments. The typical real estate attorney fee for a buyer is between $2,000 to $3,000. Fees can be higher depending on the complexity of the transaction. There are also discount lawyers who charge less. However, you should be careful that paying less for your lawyer doesn't sacrifice the quality of your representation. All condos and co-ops charge buyers a handful of fees when making the purchase. These may include a board application fee, a move-in fee, and/or a move-in deposit. These fees and deposits are typically no more than $2,000 combined. If you're financing, you'll need to pay a handful of mortgage-related fees, which include an application fee, an appraisal fee, bank attorney fees, and a mortgage recording fee. The typical bank loan application fee is under $1,000, and the appraisal fee is usually around $750. Specific fees vary by bank.